design friends. This is Cindy Allen, Editor-in-Chief of Interior Design. We recently produced 2 weeks of our first ever virtual neocon, oh my God, on DesignTV. And it culminated in our very special awards called the HIP Awards, honoring industry people. And today I want to share one of our very special winners. The category was Greater Good in a Large Firm. And she is the very talented and very special Ambar Margarida from Space Smith. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Cindy?
I'm great. You know, Ambar, I think the last time we saw each other was at Giants, right?
Yes. Yes.
In Palm Springs. Can you believe it? So everyone out there, we hold a big design conference every year in March, and it was right as things were starting to happen, but we held this conference and we were like, this may be our last time together for a while. Oh my God, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
really is. And it's just so great to be a part of this community. And I love everything that you've been doing with DesignTV. And it's been really interesting to watch how everybody has just had to adapt so quickly to all the tools, technology, and you've done an excellent job. So kudos.
Well, thanks. It's a whole team, and we definitely pivoted very quickly, but that's kind of what we do. So we're very proud of it as well. Anyway, I'm so happy to have you on. First of all, congrats on the huge win. It's a big deal.
Thank you. It is. It's nice to pause and acknowledge what you and your team have done throughout the years, and I didn't think it would be, but it was really meaningful. So thank you for doing that. I think a lot of times we just, as designers, we're so lucky to have a profession that we love, and it's easy to just say, oh, I love what I do and I love my clients, and not really pause to acknowledge it. And
right.
I think that that's what an award allows you to do, to say, oh, wow, I'm getting acknowledgement from the outer world. I guess I should pause for a second and acknowledge the work that I've done together with a team of talented colleagues and consultants and clients.
Right. It's so true. And, this was, obviously this was a very interesting one that we did. It's the first time I've done it actually from home. So there was no clapping, there were no hugs, there was no connection. I was trying to make it as connected as possible, but I always wonder, so you're on the other side and you don't know if you're going to win, and all of a sudden I'm telling your story. Like, what was that like?
It was, it was a Friday and it was the end of the week and I was really tired, and I was looking at all the work that everybody else, the story we're telling for everybody else, and the other woman who won the same award in the small firm category. Remind me of her name? Kia
Weatherspoon. We're going to interview her too. She's amazing.
Oh my God. And I saw her, and she was like a veteran and started her own firm and all of this work, and I was like, wow, that is incredible. And then you started talking about me, and I was just blown away. I was really blown away and so grateful and humbled, and it was really emotional for me, actually. Yeah. It was very emotional. So
I'm so glad. Well, it was impossible not to, so we get all these submissions and we're, sorting through them and reading everybody's story. And both you and Kia had completely different stories, but they were both so powerful that it was like, oh, well, we're going to give 2 awards. And especially because she had her own firm and you have, you work for big firms. So you're the principal of architecture and interiors at Space Smith, which is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, because reading through all of the submission that you sent us, it just, everything was about having meaning and the human connection and a purpose. And I wondered what that was like at a big firm and how you had the freedom to be able to make those choices.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I think, well, first of all, I've been lucky to have found a firm that, really cares
Yeah.
really, really cares. It's not about pumping out work, and some work is more profitable and some work we lose tons of money on. That's, you know, the honest truth about doing work that you really, really care about. And working with a lot of social service providers, like SEO Family of Services, which I've been working with for the past few years. You really want to dig deep into understanding everything that they offer in terms of services to our fellow humans, right? And to do that, it's a long, long, long process of interviewing, really connecting, empathizing with people, observing the way they work, how they carry out their services. And you're totally right. SpaceMyth, I think I've gained the trust of the company, and if I say this is our programming process, and we've said we need this series of interviews, but we need more, and we need to spend more time with the client, and we need to spend more time analyzing what we've done in order to gather meaning from the data that we're collecting and then turn that into design insights, then that's what we do. And I think that is what everybody on our staff who works on these projects, rather than just, let's say, you know, they make the rest of the hard work, that the initial information gathering, the empathizing, the gathering, the meaning of the project, really, really matters. And that's what really informs the whole design process and makes working long nights on construction documents and design presentations worth it.
Why do you think, Amber, why do you think you were always, you had that inside of you to want to make a difference in that way?
I think ever since I was in school, I went to the School of Visual Arts. I think that it's impossible for me to design without having a clear understanding what I'm designing for and why that is necessary. It's just the way I am. I can't design for something if I don't understand who the client, the user, why it's even necessary. Otherwise, I don't think spending my time on a solution, like if I don't know the question, then I don't know what the answer is, right? So I guess it's my own search for trying to gather meaning as to why a project is even necessary, whether that was in school, a hotel, a corporate office, anything. I always had to dig deeper into the program that the professors gave us and either make up my own meaning and give a whole profile for the client if that wasn't given.
Right. It's sort of, but I kind of feel like you can sometimes say like a project finds you, but you also find a project. And it just seems like the work that you do, yeah, there's a human connection to everything. Tell us a little bit about the SEO Family of Services. What are they doing for their communities?
Oh, absolutely. So they work at a cross section of keeping families together and finding families for foster children as well. So they have a variety of, I think they're the largest human services provider in New York.
Wow.
And they were started many, many years ago. And they were working with them. For example, I'll mention a few of their programs.
Yeah.
They have a nurse family partnership program, which means that when a young family or new mothers or new parents have a child, they have a slew of nurses that will visit these individuals, new parents, in their homes, teach them bring them a baby carriage, bring them whatever it is they need to succeed as new parents. Right? So that those children stay with their families, right? It's all about keeping the family together.
Yeah, sure.
They have training programs for previously incarcerated youth to find employment and to find homes. They have a series of group homes for individuals, young adults, who they call the extraordinary needs individuals, and they might be harder to place because of their needs in a foster family, for example. And so they stay with them, they give them the support, mental health counseling, anything that they need in order to live a healthy life and have a home, a job, a community, and there's lots of training. They are just an incredible organization. Really, really dedicated individuals.
So how many years have you been working on those kinds of projects?
With SEO,
Yeah.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, and also the past year, I've been working with the New York Legal Assistance Group, NYLAG.
Right.
That project is starting construction now, and they're also incredible. They provide free legal services to New Yorkers. And so I'm working with these extremely talented lawyers. They have been a part of the Bloomberg administration. You know, they're just really dedicated individuals. And when you're across the table with people like this, I mean,
What's it like? Yeah, what's it like?
It's incredible. They're just so humble and intelligent, and they respect your opinion as a professional, and you can have this great dialogue. We can have a dialogue with their staff that maybe they can't, and then give them that information so that in a way you're having them communicate on the same level about space requirements and how that helps them with their daily work.
Are you working with them right now also about coming back?
Yes.
Like what it's going to look like?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for example, and why do people need to come back? I'm also not going to push the need for space that maybe people don't need. I am a full proponent. If you can work in a distributed team, which is what we're all doing now, we're all working as distributed teams. Right now, we're still working in a synchronous manner where everybody's working typically the same hours.
Right.
But if you can work in a distributed team, then by all means, go for it. Stay in your community. And then, so what is the point of going into the office? For somebody like NYLAG, it might be their client intake meetings, understanding why a client needs legal services, providing a space away from trauma they might have experienced, meeting with a professional, also assigning and filing documents, printing, signing, filing. But
I love that you said NYLAG, because it's like, you know, that's so like insider.
Oh yeah,
the New York Legal Assistance Group, right. NYLAG.
Right. Right.
So you're working with them right now, right?
Yeah.
On that. And there's a project that we just, I mean, it's just so funny that we just published such a beautiful project that was all about sustainability, but there was also a lot of affordable housing in that project, right? 10 Hallett's Point, right?
Yes, exactly. That is in Astoria, Queens. It's on the waterfront. And it was just, first of all, it was such amazing to work for a developer who owns and operates most of their properties, which is the Durst organization, working with the Durst family on it. The level of care and priority that they place on sustainability is unlike any other client that I've worked with. And a lot of people, when they think about the Durst, they don't think about all they've done for sustainability. And especially when it comes to residences, like Helena Durst was really, really concerned in all the areas and all the amenity spaces, and for the children's playroom, and the level of sustainability requirements for all of the finishes, the indoor air quality there is really, really top notch. And we went between certification systems. Should this be LEED? Should this be green building communities? How do you
decide on something like that?
Well, in the end, they decided, and it became LEED version 4. So when this project started in 2015, and it was pretty recently completed. And in the end, they decided it would be LEED version 4, but we were following their own set of guidelines, their own set of sustainability requirements that they had worked with. They have an in-house sustainability team, and they had worked with Videris as the sustainability consultant. And we were working with all of them on all of this vetting process. So they have their own proprietary specs, really, and performance requirements. And they just happen to be more stringent than LEED and WELL and all of these others. So we followed theirs. That's
amazing. And you know, the thing is, when I read that there I think it's 81 affordable units, right? In this Hallett's Point, I think, wow, like 81 families are be touched by design in a way that they never probably even knew existed. That's pretty powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, as soon as you walk in the door, the air quality is recognizable as just fresh and better, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, for
Which
sure.
is so important. I think we went from being 90% of our time indoors to being 99 to 100% of our time indoors most days now. And having recently taken and passed the well building exam, I'm just so passionate about how, yes, our buildings have an impact on the environment, but our buildings have a huge impact on the way we feel and how, and if we are healthy. So not only mental, but also physical health, right?
Yes.
So it's just fascinating. Air quality, finishes, the way circulation works, all of it.
It's amazing. It's fantastic. And it's an incredible project. You know, it's like, you don't have to, you don't have to downgrade anything with design and still make it, something that is going to change so many people's life. Congratulations on that project. And also, as you said, on the developer and them really caring about the people that are going to be inhabiting it. Amazing. Now, there's all these other things that you do, Ambar. So I want to get to them.
Sure.
One is this town and gown. So you have to tell me about this town and gown. I don't know what it's a program, right?
Yes, so it's part of New York City's Department of Design and Construction, where Terry Matthews, she heads the program, and it's all about having industry professionals and educators in universities. So they work with Pratt. This was the first year they worked with SVA with my class. And Pratt, Columbia University, and a few other New York City institutions. And they work on solving different New York City Department of Design and Construction queries or so mine was working with the justice system. So my class is called Critical Thinking for Interior Designers. The whole point of my class, it's actually humanities. It's not a design class. So we approach things as designers, but it's really about critical thinking. So doing your own research as a designer in order to come up with an informed decision. And that decision happens to be something about design, right? So my class was separated into 6 working groups. I had 18 students. And our 6 working groups were looking into different things. So color, acoustics, materials and finishes, and biophilia, and several other categories. And the point of the class was to figure out how those topics impact our emotional, psychological, and physical well-being in the built environment, and how to apply this to a system of restorative justice. So we looked at what people who are incarcerated in jail, so if someone is in a jail, they are either awaiting trial and they can't post bail, or they're serving a short sentence. Some might be 3 years, but typically they're under a year. So the question from the DDC was, we have a lot of people coming through these jails. How should these spaces be designed so that they help people instead of hurt them, right? And I have to stop there and say that I don't think that our justice system and all the problems that we have are necessarily an infrastructure problem. I think this is a systemic problem that ties into so many facets that I don't think that, for example, closing down Rikers,
right, and
opening up a system of borough-based jails, which is what's happening, that has been approved, is necessarily the solution. Because when Rikers was opened, Rikers was deemed as this amazing example of architecture where you could have gardens and you're on an island, and people who came to jail here would have their own, a lot of space per person. And we've all seen the overcrowding and the violence by, it's not only inmates, it's also the corrections officers that work with them. So it is a systemic problem, but I'll step back and take it back to my class. We were dealing with how do these aspects affect our behavior and our psychology within a jail space? And are there restorative justice elements that we can add to the system that actually help people?
Yeah,
So,
I know that you also write and speak about designing physically and cognitively healthy environments for survivors of trauma, violence, and injustice. All of that is like part of who you are, Ambar, right? And why do you think you're so passionate about that?
I don't know. I think just the more I learn, the more I think that we have a big role to play as designers, and if I could make a small difference in anything, I think that that's the least I could do. Yeah.
No, it's very powerful, and it takes it to another level, and that was why we were so impressed by you. And it's sometimes I feel like it's something in your, in something growing up, or something that you saw, somehow you were affected in some way, that this is, you're attracted to it and it's attracted to you, right?
Yes. Well, I'm a problem solver. So for example, when I learned from NYLAG that a lot of the people that seek legal services are going through trauma, I was like, okay, well, I need to investigate trauma-informed design. How does a space not re-traumatize an individual? And I just get to work on it. And I get my whole team to work on it. And I say, guys, this is what we're investigating now. And even the placement of chairs in a space can be seen as confrontational and re-traumatizing to some individuals. And so we have to understand that, and we have to put ourselves in that position in order to be better designers. So that's really my approach.
Right. And also sharing it, right? Which I also love, that you're sharing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're also a founding member of the Latino American Commercial Real Estate Association, advocating for its Hispanic members. So tell me about that.
So I started that with a group of very talented individuals, a cross section of individuals. So building managers, real estate brokers, project managers, and recognizing that there was no commercial real estate organization for Latinos. But when you go out there, your construction trades are a lot of Latino men. We'll get into how, it's like 1 in 20 are women, which I think, we need to work on. But it was really out of us congregating and saying, hey, let's find a way to make this a little bit more official and for everybody else to meet. And we started that around 10 years ago at this point, 10 years ago. And now we have, it sort of ramped up and then ramped down. All the board members got really busy, and then we tried to have a succession of board members, and so then we brought it back around 2 years ago, and we have quarterly gatherings. And it's just great to meet people, see where they go. We have a partnership with the Pencil organization, and they teamed us up with a school that's mainly Latinos and Hispanics in Brooklyn. And so we raise money for them for a scholarship for 2 students, and for a small amount of money for them to buy books and things for college when they're graduating this high school, and also to give them awareness about careers in commercial real estate. So everything from design to management to all of it. And it's just wonderful.
Does this somehow connect back to your roots?
Yes, I'm from Puerto Rico. I moved to New York when I was 17 or 18 to go to school to study interior design. I actually graduated high school early because I knew I wanted to be a designer. And I said, Mom, I'm bored here in Puerto Rico. This is a lovely town, but I need a little more exposure. And both my siblings lived in New York at the time. And so I came here to do a pre-college program on interior design. And I was like, yep, that's it. And I love New York, and I'm moving, and the rest is history. I've been here ever since.
One thing we say about like trying to be more inclusive and everything that's happening in the world right now is education. And and that it starts so early on. So how did you know that you wanted to be a designer so young? Had you been touched by it?
Well, my brother is 11 years older than me, so he went off to college in New York, and my mom said, "Okay, well now who wants to move into your brother's room?" And I said, "I want to move in there." Me and my sister, so we're three siblings. And I said, "I want to move in there, and do I get to change up all the furniture?" And my mom said, "Yes, of course." And so, you know, I went to all the local stores, I went to all this, and I just had so much fun. And at the same time, my cousin was switching from a career in catering to interior design in Puerto Rico. And she had married an architect. And then I realized, oh my God, this is a career. And I think the rest is history. And then I started Googling in my high school's computer lab. I think I was in ninth grade, maybe 8th or 9th grade, and Googling schools for interior design and what I needed to do to get into a school. So a portfolio, sketching, photographs, and then I started taking classes in those areas so that I could be accepted into the school of my choice.
Mm-hmm. And I would just, you know the power of design and that you want to share it with others, but also that we allow younger people to know that this is, you know, this kind of career is something that's very fulfilling and changes so many people's lives.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And when you start studying as a young person, you don't understand the depth and breadth and career opportunities within a design career. You know, right now I could be a developer, I could work for a developer, I could be a material finish expert. You know, it's so varied, and I think it provides so many opportunities through an artful lens that makes an impact, because everybody needs a home, everybody needs a place to congregate, socialize. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we do have to thank Spacesmith, right? Because they sort of allowed you to blossom with these projects that I would just think you would just get so connected to the people there. And you know, we say that's sort of addictive when you like help somebody, it feeds you back and you want to help somebody else and help somebody else. And I could see that in you, Ambar.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, Spacesmith is a great place, and my colleagues and the partners at Spacesmith, they all really see the importance in the work, and we have a varied portfolio. You know, universities, high-end retail, embassies overseas, local workplaces for book publishers and the like. And I think that fluency between work really helps us. They all inform one another.
Yeah.
And it's great to be working with different types of clients at the same time.
Is there anything you want to say, any sort of positive message as an end note, Miss Greater Good award winner, about what you see ahead and everything we're going through right now?
Well, I think that if I look at it on the bright side, I have a passion for horticulture and gardens and outdoor spaces. And there's so much science out there about the power of nature on our well-being. And I actually love that when I go to a park, a national park, or I go hiking upstate or in New Jersey, the parks are filled up with people. And I think that people are going back to the things that really matter. And it affects our capitalist society. But I think that it is important to interrupt that a little bit, even though a lot of people, I'm very aware that a lot of people are suffering right now.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, if we can reconnect to the things that really matter, which includes having a home and being able to pay your rent and having food on the table, connecting to nature as a means of well-being and respite, I think is really great.
Well, you matter to us, Ambar, and we're so touched that you're able to make such a difference in so many people's lives in your work, and that you keep going. This isn't enough. You had such a resume. No, that's not enough. And then she does this, and then she does that. So we're blessed by that. And also just keep being a leader. You're a really great leader for our community, Ambar. So keep on it.
Thank you so much.
So big congratulations to our HIP award winner for Greater Good, large firm at Space Smith. Thank you so much, Ambar. Sending you virtual hugs and love out to the world, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Ambar.
Bye.